All right, guys, welcome. I want to talk to the EU representative in Sierra Leone, okay? The European Union representative in Sierra Leone. That's the person I want to talk to. You see, because Sierra Leoneans, we have to understand this. Again, Section 13B of the Constitution tells us about the fact that we have to be patriotic. Every citizen shall cultivate a sense of nationalism and patriotism. That is what the Constitution tells us. And I've said it again. The problem we have across Africa, but particularly so in Sierra Leone, it is because the citizens have not been able to hold on to Section 13B of the Constitution. That is the only reason. Guys, don't mind me. I'm putting on the sunglasses because, I have my eyes dilated. I was almost not going to do this live, but bright lights bother me right now. So, I have to do this. Every day that goes by, time is of the essence. So I want to talk to the European Union, representative in Sierra Leone. Why? Because, as you all know, I saw him at this event. It was at this event at State House. And therefore, we have to call these guys out. And I want you to listen to this real quick, because I don't want to waste time. Let's listen to this, and I'll take it from there. But this was again, if you don't remember, this is the event at State House. I told you I'm going to talk to all of these people one after the other. This is the event at State House where they presented a report to Julius Marabio. And by the way, I said dilated my eyes. I know a lot of Sierra Leoneans know what I mean. I wear sunglasses because my eye dilate. Because a lot of you guys have never been to an optometrist or go see doctor. So then go check my eye today. Then get in drops there when they put. You go there and call tropicamide. You go there and call phenylephrine. Those are some of the eye drops where you put in the eye for dilates the eye. So the doctor then go for see better behind the back of the eye and diagnose any issue where you get. And besides, if you have a prescribed glasses for you, that is why they dilate. So for the thousands and millions of Sierra Leoneans that have never seen an optometrist, we're not going to understand it within an optometrist, but an eye doctor, where they go diagnose issues that you have with your eyes, refer you to an ophthalmologist. If you get for go do refractive surgery of some cataracts of some sort, or you get glaucoma, you're on medication, they can diagnose that, do further testings for you, use an OCT scanner for see the thickness of your macula or any disruptions that have gone on with your macula, if there's any issues there with your macula, so that they go for resolve them. If you get diabetes, you get eye problem. If you get high blood pressure, it affects your eyes, okay? So I get my eyes dilated today because it's my annual exams all over my, we get for get a car exam in the a lot of weird diaspora, it's something that we have access to. Sierra Leoneans don't have access to internet, to healthcare system. So they don't even understand exactly what I'm talking about when I say dilate. So I'm not just want to pass over anybody in need. If that's the idea, I hope I explain properly. But if you don't go see eye doctor, you didn't Sierra Leone, you go start waiting a dilation. We then put the drops in your eye, and they make bright lights become very bothersome. You don't need to look at bright lights. Like right now, I cannot look at my screen without this. If I take this off, I'm not going to see my screen. So that is why I'm wearing the sunglasses. I just want to explain, Nandi. This is 2025, but there are millions of Sierra Leoneans that have never seen an optometrist. I make I say again, with Ministry of Health, this is some of the things where people like we will get the opportunity, we make sure say every Sierra Leonean, it's going to be a crime, matter of fact, as a Sierra Leonean, if you're not going to do your 6 months annual checkup. Because we're going to make sure healthcare is available to every citizen. I don't preach, I don't talk here because I want for talk. These are passion, these are visions that we have for our people in that nation. This is 2025, our people deserve better. I don't want to segue and talk about that, but I want to talk to the European Union representative. It was at this event at State House on June 5th, presenting when these guys that said they've conducted, an audit of the electoral systems, a commission. They came there to present a report of how they looked at, ECSL to make sure in future elections, nobody rigs elections anymore in future elections. And I said to all of that bullshit, it is all bull crap. Because the thing is this, until these people put their foot down and say Julius Marabio should hand over power and get out because he's not the legally elected president in that nation, nothing is going to change in Sierra Leone because the same filthy pigs and the same filthy animals continue to occupy power. They continue to sit in that place until the people like the European Union and stand up for the right thing, the United Nations representative in Sierra Leone, until they stand up for the right thing to ensure that democracy is restored. We cannot have an elections where the result is not available. So this is the European Union representative in Sierra Leone, and I play this because it was there, it was present, and he ought to know better. Because at this whole event, not one person from the opposition was there. He should have asked questions. This European representative should have asked questions as to why nobody from the opposition was present at this report that they gave to Marabio, faking the whole system like they're doing everything they could to preserve and protect democracy, when that is not the case. So right here, presentation of report to President Bio on review of Electoral Commission. So they claimed that they've reviewed ECSL. Therefore, in the future, ECSL is going to be bulletproof. When the simplest thing that was asked of ECSL on June 24, 2023 was for the proper tabulation of the results, to project everything on the wall. They could not do that. And then Mohamed Kanawe tells us that they are not obligated to even share the disaggregated data. That was what Mohamed Kanawe said. That he is not obligated. It's not my words. I'm not making things up. That is what he said.
Sessions have been backed by a coalition of local civil society organizations.
I don't want to come to this yet. I don't want to play this yet. Bear with me, guys. This is not what I want yet. I'm going to go back and show you guys this video right here of this European representative present at State House. I say again, the European Union, all of these people are hypocrites. You know the election was rigged. You know the results are not available, but you're participating in events like this instead of taking a stronger position to say, no, Julius Maada Bio should hand over power to the rightful winner, because that is what democracy is all about. Let's listen to him real quick, what he said at the event.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, Dr. Julius Maada Bio, President of the Sierra Leone, Chief Minister, Dr. David Sangre, all protocol duly observed. I was extremely pleased when receiving the invitation to attend this event. Why? Because the delivery of the external functional review of the Electoral Commission marks an important milestone towards the implementation of the recommendations of the Tripartite Committee, which stems from the Agreement of National Unity of October 2023.
And again, listen. Oh, this is what a lot of my brothers, when I listen attentively now, a lot of my brothers and sisters, when they hear this, the implementation from the Tripartite Committee, they get fooled. But let me bring you back home. The first recommendation that should have been effected 2 years on, the first recommendation that should have been applied was to restore Dr. Samura Kamara as the president. Matter of fact, all of these recommendations, all of these reviews of ECSL, European, Electoral Commission and this and that should have been done by Dr. Samura Kamara. It should not be done by Maada Bio. So for you people that are sitting out there, let's talk this pan crew. My brother and sister them, the electoral fighters, we are going to continue to fight this fight. But don't be fooled. One of the read and they talk about for say this now because of the Tripartite Committee recommendations. So all of these things that they are doing is towards the implementation of the Tripartite Committee recommendations. The first recommendation that should have taken place in the first place was the fact that Dr. Samura Kamara should have been reinstated as the president, the rightful winner of the June 24th, 2023 elections. I want to make that very clear. Leone, I want you to listen attentively. All my brother and sister, they will not be fooled by this thing that they're doing is because it's the implementation of the Tripartite. No! The first implementation, the first recommendation that should have been implemented was that for Dr. Samura Kamara to be reinstated as the rightful winner of the elections. Then all of these recommendations, it should be the one pioneering. Now Samura Kamara in government now for the effect these changes across the system. It is none of these guys. And that is why, again, I tell you, we're going to get there. Dr. Samura Kamara has to tell the people of Sierra Leone, the 90% of the population that is looking forward to him, they know he has fought a good fight and he's going to keep fighting that good fight. But we need an update. That is a fact. We need update to know where are we in this process. Ongoing political transition. Usai we we're going to get there. So for the people that are listening to this, my brothers and sisters, don't be fooled, because the moment somebody will say, oh, this is towards the recommendations, implementation of the Tripartite Committee. Oh, the international community, they work. We want Dr. Samura Kamara to implement all of these necessary changes, or matter of fact, implement all the 84 to 85 recommendations, it should have been Dr. Samura Kamara. The very first recommendation should have been the reinstatement of the rightful winner. The whole thing about the tripartite was to ensure that they have the results. SLPP, they say there's convergent and divergent in the tripartite report. However, it is clearly stated from the 71% of the RRF result reconciliation forms that were provided, it is clear that Dr. Samura Kamara had 57.15% of the vote. SLPP could not produce RRF forms. The Electoral Commission cannot produce the RRF forms. Therefore, if the APC was able to provide its RRF forms, why is the European Union not going by that to say, yes, Dr. Samura Kamara won this election? They know the election was rigged. So this is the European Union representative in Sierra Leone giving this speech on June 5th at State House. Let me go back again. Let's read from the top here. Listen to this.
For those words of support for the review process. Your Excellency, elections have also been a critical convergence point for our development partners. And today we are going to have two responses from our development partners, and we'll start from the head of the EU with the first response.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, Dr. Julius Maada Bio, President of the Sierra Leone, Chief Minister, Dr. David Sangre, all protocol duly observed. I was extremely pleased when receiving the invitation to attend this event. Why? Because the delivery of the external functional review of the Electoral Commission marks an important milestone towards the implementation of the recommendations of the Tripartite Committee, which stems from the Agreement of National Unity of October 2023. And I also must admit a sense of relief, because the work that was presented today was due already some months ago. Recommendation 6 is indeed one of those recommendations with a deadline established by the Tripartite Committee report. We welcome this important step towards a full implementation of the 80+ recommendations contained in the report. And we are looking forward to see the findings and the recommendations of the external functional review of the Electoral Commission that was delivered today. As for ECSL, we also expect progress in respect of Tripartite Committee recommendations on an inclusive procedure for the appointment of best qualified ECSL commissioners. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, the European Union is fully supporting the implementation of the Tripartite Committee recommendations through several instruments, among which the main ones are, at present, the Sierra Leone Democracy Strengthening Programme implemented by International IDEA, the Technical Assistance Programme to the ECSL, and the Media Empowerment for Democracy, Inclusion and Accountability Media in Sierra Leone implemented by BBC Media Action. Your Excellency, this is part of one of the pillars of our partnership with Sierra Leone, which is governance. A follow-up mission of the EU Election Observation Mission 2023 that will be led by the same Chief Observer, Evelyn Insir, member of the European Parliament, is on hold, waiting an invitation from the government of Sierra Leone to come and assess the implementation of recommendations of the EU Election Observation 2023 report. The findings and conclusions of this follow-up mission will decide the extent of European Union engagement to support the 2028 electoral cycle.
Okay. So again, for my brothers and sisters, una way as una yari say, oh, implementation of the Tripartite. When I listen to the European Union representative, 2028 election cycle. Again, we are asking Dr. Samura Kamara, where are we? Usai we day in this process? Ongoing political transition. What is being said? What do we not know? We need an update as far as where are we going with this? Because again, all of these recommendations from the Tripartite should be implemented by Dr. Samura Kamara. Not to matter be again for student for the implementation here. I hope you guys are understanding this. Let us stop playing these games. We're gonna get there to that point where we're gonna talk about facts. All right, we begin to talk about reality now. Let we open up our eyes and speak about reality on what is actually happening. This man is talking about 2028 elections. But I got something for you guys, because does not matter. As far as I know, the European Union, the international partners, what they should, the number one recommendation should have been the restoration of the rightful winner of the elections in Sierra Leone, which was Dr. Samura Kamara, the man who won the elections, who has the results to prove and show that he is the winner of the elections of June 24, 2023. Now, Dr. Samura Kamara in administration now for to implement everything now from the Tripartite recommendation. Now, this man is telling you guys about 2028. It is shown how they support ECSL, how they support organizations, them, how through technical support, through BBC, all of these other organizations, when I swear and give money to the civil society organizations the other day, we're going to stop playing the games. We're going to come to the fact and the reality, what is actually happening. Where is Dr. Samura Kamara? Because if anything, the European Union people, these guys, what we should be talking about is about the restoration of Dr. Samura Kamara as the rightful president. That is what we should be talking about. That are the number one recommendations for the Tripartite. Now, in force for be implemented. And the talk is pancreas because I don't understand. Again, this is a conversation that I'm going to get deeper into. But for now, I'm just focused on these guys because I want to prove one or two things, Tona. Nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to change because you still have the same idiots. You still have the same pigs, the same filthy idiots in charge of the affairs of government. For as long as you have the same civil society activists, you have the Abdul Fatomas, the Ibrahim Tomi, the Andrew Lavali, the Marcela Sambas, the Reverend Lahai. These people are new. All of these people, as long as you have these same folks circling our systems, nothing is going to happen. As long as you have the same people within the SLPP, you have Mohamed Kenya Awekone and the network that they've built inside ECSL, nothing is going to change. The outcomes is going to remain the same. Next elections again is going to be rigged and nothing comes out of it. I have enough evidence to show and prove to you guys nothing is going to change. Let me share this, guys, with you. This is the 2018 report. This, matter of fact, this was when the European Union, observer teams arrived in Sierra Leone. Let me play this video first for you guys.
This week, the European Union Election Observation Mission deployed 28 long-term observers to all 16 districts of Sierra Leone. Prior to the deployment, they received an overarching observation guideline from the chief observer, Evin Inchir, while the core team analysts briefed them on electoral processes, political environment, as well as traditional and social media landscapes. Observers also received a thorough logistics and security training. Now, they are ready for the field.
As long-term observer, we will be the eyes and ears of the mission at the local level. So in practice, it means that we will be meeting with as many stakeholders in the election process as possible, such as the election administration, political parties and candidates from all sides, but also the civil society, the local media, and of course the voters.
Myself and my partner will be based in Bo, like the other observers who are in other parts of Sierra Leone. We will form little pieces of information from all across the country, reporting back to the capital, to the core team.
All of you are bringing wealth of experience and professionalism to this mission. Therefore, I would encourage all of us at all times to keep in mind three key principles: impartiality, independence, and non-interference. And most of all, transparency in each and every aspect of our work.
All right. So this is the European Union team when they arrived. This is the European team when they arrived to observe the elections of June 24, 2023. Why I'm telling you guys that there is nothing here, nothing is going to change, because the same filthy people, and I'm using these words very strategically. These words that I'm using are very strategic. the same filthy people, because these are people that lack integrity. These are people that are unpatriotic. These are people that don't care about Sierra Leone as a whole. These are people that only care about themselves and their self-egotistic agendas that they have to dominate and dominate. That is all these people are. So I want to make sure very clear, I'm using these words when I say filthy pigs, because this is who they are. This is what they are. We've seen it time and time again. Let me show you guys this. This is the 2018 report. This is the 2018 report from the European Union. What has changed? What has changed? Nothing. It is the same. 2018, 2021. Nothing changed. Same. So look at it right here. This is the 2018 report, as you can see on the screen. Matter of fact, let me put this on a bigger screen for you guys. All right. This is the 2018 report. All right. 2018 European Union report. This is it right here. What changed? European Union Election Observation Mission 2018. All right. Same findings. Same concerns. All around the clock. Nothing new. Nothing is going to matter. This is it right here. Following you guys can see this. Let me reduce this, the screen for you guys. Sorry, guys. I'm really trying to get it right for you all, so y'all can see what I'm doing here. Again, this is the 2018 report. All right, 2018 report. European Union, 2018. This is 2021. Same thing. Nothing is gonna change. Same old same. 2021. This is, again, now we're in 2023. Nothing is going to change. This is the preliminary statement from the European Union observation team that came. Nothing is going to change. So look at 2018. Let's see. 2018, what was the finding right here? Let's look at the introduction, the summary statement. I'm just going to go through the summary statements of each report. All right? The second peaceful transition. Let me highlight for you guys. This is where I'm going to read. I'm going to read this. The second peaceful transition from one elected leader to another was an important milestone in the consolidation of democracy in Sierra Leone. The NEC proved its genuine commitment to a transparent and inclusive election. The emergence of several new parties who challenged the elected duopoly of parties in the last parliament contributed to widening the political spectrum. However, the runoff presidential election, which was held 4 days later than originally scheduled, was marred by a period of legal uncertainty and divisive discourse fueled by some politicians. All right. So again, this was 2018. Let's look at summary statements from 2021. Executive summary right here. All right. Let's see. From the European Union. All right. I want us to see this together. The European Union deployed an election follow-up mission to Sierra Leone from 10 October to 7 November 2021 to assess the degree to which the 29 recommendations from the 2018 EU Election Observation Mission, EU EOM, have been implemented. The EFM also discussed with stakeholders their proposals for further progress towards the implementation of the recommendation in advance of future elections. The mission was led by Norbert Nosser, a member of the European Parliament, who held high-level discussions in Freetown from 24 to 29 October 2021. Meetings were held with a broad range of interlocutors. These included the President, the Vice President, the Chief Minister, and other ministers. Leaders of all parliamentary parties, including the former President including the former president, the chief justice, the speaker of parliament, and other parliamentarians, the leadership of the National Electoral Commission, all of these. So we've seen again and again, time and time again, these reports from European Union, nothing, the findings that they give, right here. In addition to the 29 specific recommendations, an overarching theme of the EU-EOM in 2018 was to call for a renewed commitment to constitutional reform to ensure a coherent constitution in line with international standards. All of this, 2018, all of these recommendations. But this is not what I want to do for you guys today, right? I'm showing you guys all of this because I want you guys to understand where people like myself are coming from. The European Union and all of these organizations, they have a responsibility. They should not continue to allow Marabio to continue to stay in power illegally and unconstitutionally under the guise of them doing all of these reforms so that we can have better election outcomes, when we know that the election outcomes would always be the same and nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to change. We don't see them time and time again. So now, let me play. This is a report from BBC at the time when, Masela Samba, of course, Umaru Fofana reported. This was that report. Let us see what we're talking about here. Listen to this.
Coalition of local civil society organizations, coalition sessions have been backed by a coalition of local civil society organizations called the National Election Watch. Their chairperson, Michaela Samba Sise, said that their projections showed that even though the president got more than half the valid votes, he did not get the 55% threshold needed to avoid a runoff.
So we are shocked at the way democracy has been betrayed in elections and all the efforts we've put into this all those years. We really want to see a situation where our leaders come to power through legitimate means, and we also work towards consolidating the peace. So really we are concerned because this National Elections Watch with the PLVT, which is actually giving a projection, of the results through comprehensive data analysis, and we saw a number of discrepancies. So in reality, we saw overvoting in polling stations, and we also saw the voter turnout projection inflated. What we have is that no one actually met the constitutional threshold of 55%.
Period, guys. Period. So when I see these European Union representatives attending these events under the guise of making these necessary changes so that we would have future elections that are going to be, rigged proof, it's a fallacy. And people that are falling for this nonsense and saying that, they're implementing the recommendations from the Tripartite, the first recommendation should have been the reinstatement of Dr. Samora Kamara Force. That should have been the first. And then we'll talk about all the other recommendations now. Dr. Samora Kamara's administration should be the one that is implementing all of these recommendations at this point in time. It should not be Marabio implementing the recommendations from the Tripartite. That is the call that we should be making right now. That is what we should be asking for from these international organizations. It is very clear, as you heard from the interview, Masela Samba runs new. Yes, now today they're preparing. They're preparing because I'm not talking about the opposition. People like Masela Samba, we want to thank them. They're doing a phenomenal job. At the end of the day, they have to maintain their income, their livelihoods. They have to make a living for themselves. But Masela Samba could have another job somewhere across the world. This should not be a way to go. Masela Samba should take a principled position. Masela Samba fought very hard for us to have a peaceful elections, a transparent elections, and accountable elections on June 24, 2023. She made the efforts to. But you see how the elections was rigged. Masela Samba had the PVT, the parallel voter tabulation process. The same result that Masela Samba has is what ECSL has. Masela Samba made it very clear that nobody did not score the 55%, but Marabio was declared as winner. And then you have the European Union partners, these people, under the guise of they're funding these other programs because they are looking at, they're saying things that are going to make us feel good. When some people hear them saying, then they implement the Tripartite recommendations, they're lost in translation. The first recommendation from the Tripartite recommendation should have been the reinstatement of Dr. Samora Kamara as the rightful president of the Republic of Sierra Leone. That should have been what we all should be talking about. Nothing else. The rest of the 84 recommendations should have been implemented by Dr. Samora Kamara. That is why, again, I say, where are we in the process? That is the fundamental question that we have. It is very clear, sacrosanctly clear, that the elections was rigged. Marabio did not have the 55%. But yet you have all of these civil society organizations scrambling now around. The Abdul Fatomas, the Ibrahim Tomis, the Andrew Lavalis, the Valnora Headwinds, the Marcela Sambas. Because, again, it's time to eat some money. European Union is dishing out the money. Irish Aid is dishing out the money. So it's all about the money. It's not about taking a principled position. Because otherwise, Marcela Samba should have been the first person to say, you know what? This man did not win the elections. I am not going to superintend over another elections if the same people are still in power. We all know that nobody's got the 55%, even though the APC has the 70% of the RRF forms, which shows Dr. Mark Mars got 57.15%. That is the result reconciliation forms that APC put together. 71% showed that Dr. Samara Kamara won the elections. Marcela Samba has the details. She has the facts. This is also, a report that was done by New. Let us continue watching this so you guys can see what I am saying. This is a report that was done by New. Let's continue this. Let's continue this right here.
The Electoral Commission has defended the results, saying that they did not stick sample stations. Rather, they dealt with all the votes cast. President Bio clearly has his work cut out for him, not least with an economy that is in dire straits.
Yari Umaru Fofana, President Bio has his work cut out for him. Then why are they all poor we country? If this was the APC in power, the language of Umaru Fofana would have been so different. Umaru Fofana should have said right there, this is coming from New. They have the parallel vote and tabulation process, a system. That is what they've said, that Julius Marabio did not win the elections. So what is the international partners or what is the civil society organizations going to do about this? That would have been the language of Umaru Fofana. It was the days of the BBC. That would have been the verbiage of Umaru Fofana. But he's referring to President Bio has his work cut out for him because he's laying it there. It's a free kick. Just score. Let's continue to listen to this.
And a nation that is deeply divided.
Umar Fofana there reporting from Sierra Leone, deeply divided nation, somewhat controversial election. A couple of hours, we hope to get the views of one of the senior international election observers.
Listen to this report by
the
New.
Electoral process in
Listen
Sierra
to
Leone.
this.
Transparency of the process and can build confidence for the remaining process. The results announced by ECSL are based on 60% of polling stations in each district, but do not represent 60% of the total votes cast in each district because polling stations vary in size. For example, in Kailam, the valid votes cast in the 60% of polling stations announced represent 80% of the registered voters in the district. In Bombali, the valid votes cast in the 60% of polling stations announced represent 71% of registered voters in the district. In Port Loko, the valid votes cast in 60% of polling stations announced represent 66% of registered voters in the district. In Bonds, the valid votes cast in the 60% of polling stations announced represent 71% of registered voters in the district. And in Western Area Urban, the valid votes cast in the 60% of polling stations announced represent 44% of registered voters in the district. However, New affirms that all ballots have not yet been counted. Based on our PRVT findings and the ECSL data announced thus far, we are confident that once all votes are counted with integrity, voter turnout will be 77.3%, plus or minus 1.7%. Between 75.4
broken is a visual example.
Before I get to this part, this is Brett Humes. I hope his first name is Brett. I'm not sure, but Ambassador Humes. Cameron Hume. I was thinking about Brett, another guy. But Cameron, he was the former ambassador to Sierra Leone, but he's the guy who heads the Carter Center. The Carter Center, we want to call Carter Center. Now he had the Carter Center where he go observe the elections in Sierra Leone. And he had some very strong words to say again about condemning the tabulation process of the elections results, right? This is Ambassador Humes. He's going to speak now. But what's in the new guy be telling you, Reverend Lahai, who I spoke to yesterday, because he was one of the people, and now we don't change in tone. The levy praise for Marabio is actually calling Marabio the savior, the man who actually lit the fire. Now in the column says the savior. Reverend Lahai of New is calling Marabio the savior, the same man who ignored their calls at New during the violence, all the elections them that were happening, even by-elections leading up to the national elections. Marabio never even listened to them. The violence was there, and Marabio never condemned violence. This man is now praising Marabio. But this is, Miss Ambassador Humes, former ambassador to Sierra Leone. Humes, I'm going to continue playing that for you guys. But why am I showing all of you this? Sierra Leoneans, we have to have a certain level of integrity. We have to have love for our country. We have to care about our reputation. We have to care about the good name of our country. The good name of your country is protected by every one of us as citizens. We have a responsibility not to hide things because they are bad, but to bring out these bad things so people will change their ways from the bad things that they are doing. That the responsibility that they will get. When people do bad, bring and come out in the open. Publicize them so they will see the bad that they're doing and they will be ashamed. But we know we don't have politicians in Sierra Leone that are ashamed at all. These guys have no shame left in them. They are crooked, they are criminals, they are thieves. That is who they are. But the fact is this: Section 13B of the Constitution would be, it should be the Bible. If I can have every Sierra Leonean to memorize Section 13B of the 1991 Constitution, I'm telling you the problems in Sierra Leone would be over. Because if every citizen puts aside their tribe, their region, their loyalties to political parties, their loyalties to their tribes, their loyalties to their fan club them from universities, their loyalties to all of these cultic activities that they're onto, if they just care about Sierra Leone, about the name, when you look at countries like Singapore, where they've gone 64 years later, 50 years later, I don't say 64 years later, even 50 years later, because it took them some time. But look at Singapore today. It's a first world nation. What does Singapore have that we don't have? Sierra Leone get more stuff than Singapore, but Singapore is a first world nation. Why? Because we have a bunch of useless leaders all the way from the Albert Magai. Instead of coming and doing what is right for the people of Sierra Leone, what he bring? Nepotism, tribalism, tribalization of our institutions, right? Rights to free speech being taken away. 1965 Public Order Act, right? The criminal libel law. If you talk against them, they lock you up. This was what paved the way. Sheikh Stevens came, took over power. Albert Magai already had the one-party state system in parliament. Continuation from there. What do we get? Sheikh Stevens stay in power because of SLPP provided the room for Sheikh Stevens to stay in power for that long, one-party state system. Don't forget, the SLPP participated in the one-party state system. Then later on, Ali Kaba and Furisanko, Ali Kaba went to the Mataba in Libya to bring the revolution to Sierra Leone. It's not my words. I'm not going to play that video from Charles Taylor at the criminal court, the International Criminal Court. You guys know what I'm talking about. I don't have time for that. I want to focus on this. But Sierra Leoneans, the reason why I'm doing this is because we have to protect the heritage and the good name of our beautiful country. Democracy is something that is worth it. Democracy is worth it, but it takes civilized people. If you are filthy, if you are a nasty human being, democracy is not for you. And you see that today amongst the supporters. Watch the comment section there. You see few of my good brothers and sisters being nationalistic, being patriotic, because for the people that have followed me over the years, they now know that even though I was born in APC, my grandfather, Sembufona, my father, everybody, APC. But I'm too intelligent to understand and know that it's not about political party. It's about the interests of the country. So therefore, we've changed the narrative to say, no, we want to teach other Sierra Leoneans civic education to understand that you put the country first. The country for come first. When you put your country first, everything would be beautiful. Why we lack electricity today? We lack clean drinking water. We lack proper roads. We lack proper, healthcare systems. We lack proper infrastructure across our country. We cannot provide anything for our people. Life is difficult and miserable for 90% of the population of Sierra Leone. They're living in slums. They're living they're living in dungeons. The life that our people are living in their slum them should not be a life that they should be living. All of this because we have bad leaders that all they're thinking about is how to grab power the next day. That is all they're thinking about. How do I grab power? They're not thinking about how am I going to make a change for my people. That is not what they're thinking about. And this is the problem that we have in Sierra Leone. And that is why people like myself are here to talk about these issues and say enough is enough. So I'm going to continue with, Mr. Hume's a statement here so that you guys would see, and we'll take it from there. But it's a shame. Let me continue with this. This was the report from Mr. Humes, the Carter Center. He represented Carter Center during the June 24th, 2023 elections. This is what he had to say. Listen to this.
To project, there had been an example, also broken.
Let's listen to this from the top.
Broken. Is a visual example. Also, there had been an agreement to project on a wall the data as it was entered, so that everybody in the room, all of the observers, including of the political parties, could see that it was being done and track it. And none of the tabulation centers were the results projected on the wall. So, we don't know what was done, but it raised doubts.
So, in your report published yesterday, say that 93% of the polling stations monitored were either good or very good. That sounds positive, but yet you're talking about broken seals and how some of the integrity was not maintained.
Well, it's a whole chain of confidence you need, which begins at the way the election is conducted, the campaigns are done, then the way the votes are cast, and then the final stage is how the ballots are counted, so that the results actually reflect the will of the people. And it was at the last stage that the link of confidence, I think, was damaged.
And how do you compare what you've seen now compared to when the Carter Center first started having observers in the country for elections 21 years ago after the Civil War?
Yeah, I know that the elections were more difficult to conduct then, but I'm a little hesitant to compare because I wasn't here at the time.
And what do you make of what the opposition leader has been saying? Mr. Kamara says he's rejected this result.
Well, I'm not surprised. He's been complaining about how the results were announced and how they were arrived at. I think the question is, what happens now? And an election should represent the will of the people. And the difficulty in the way that this voting process was completed is that there's not full confidence.
Guys, this is the reality of what is happening. We all know that. So again, the international partners, they have a responsibility. All this thing, everything they're doing, international partners, we're getting close to, they're implementing the Tripartite committee. Yes. The first implementation, the first recommendation that should have been implemented, the first recommendation that should have been implemented was the restoration of Dr. Samura Kamara first. And then he should have been the one now to make sure he implements all the other 84 recommendations. That should have been the playbook. That is what we should have been calling for. And that is what I've been calling for the whole time. I don't want people to get sucked in the wind because they're making these moves. We see these guys attending these events at State House, but they are preparing for 2028 elections. And then people are telling us, electoral justice. Yes, we believe in electoral justice. It is a fight that is going to ever remain. Electoral justice is not going to go anywhere. Right now, what we're concerned about is Dr. Samura Kamara's presidency. That is the number one priority right now at this point. Where are we in the process? Ongoing political transition. Where are we in the process? That is the fundamental question that we should be asking right now. we should not be fooled by any of these. They're implementing the tripartite. Yes, Dr. Samora Kamara actually should be implementing the recommendations from the tripartite as the rightful president of the Republic of Sierra Leone. That is what they ask for right now. So for these guys to be coming here and preparing for 2028 elections, I don't think we should be falling for that nonsense at this point in time. Under no circumstances, we should not be falling for that nonsense at this point in time. We have to open up our eyes and open up our minds and pay attention to the reality of what is actually happening and making sure that we, as Sierra Leoneans, make sure we get what we deserve. And let these guys, they implement, the recommendations. The first important one, the most important of all, it is the fact that Dr. Samora Kamara should be reinstated as the president of Sierra Leone. If that is not done, then what is the point? What is the point? Usai Wide is the question that we should be asking at this point in time. Usai Wide is the question that we should be asking at this point in time. Like I said again, I've shown you guys recommendations after recommendations. 2018, we saw it. 2018 recommendations, right here. 2018, European Union. 2018. Go back to 2021. European Union, 2021. We're not short of recommendations. We're not short of, electoral reforms. No, we have filthy people. Nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to change. It's going to be the same. Look at the report from European Union 2023. Look at the report right here. This was the preliminary report from the June 24, 2023 elections that they gave. All right. The preliminary statement of the EU Election Observation Mission is delivered before the completion of the entire electoral process. Now, let's start with the summary. This is the summary right here. Let's read this together. All right. Let's read this summary together. The 2023 general elections unfolded in a highly polarized and volatile socio-political environment. In a positive development, these elections were preceded by newly introduced electoral legislation. Listen to the words of the European Union. The June 24, 2023 elections, we get new legislations that were applied that should have given us the outcome that we were looking for. A transparent, accountable, free, fair election. Look at it right here. Let me highlight that area for you guys so you guys will see what I'm talking about. You see that? In a positive development, these elections, the June 24, 2023 elections, were preceded by newly introduced electoral legislation, which included the gender quota for candidates lists. However, there was a lack of transparency and timely communication. Let's look at this. However, there was a lack of transparency and timely communication from the Electoral Commission for Sierra Leone, ECSL, on electoral preparedness. At the start of the campaign, freedom of movement, assembly, and expression were largely respected. Yet, closer to election day, localized, politically motivated attacks and disproportional use of force by security agencies in some cases shrank the space of political participation in several districts. Divisive content circulating on social media, of course, fueled discord. Media debates in all districts helped voters to make an informed choice, but a national presidential debate did not happen. Civil society was key to rise in voters' awareness. It was not civil society. If anything, it was social media. Divisive content circulating on social media. It depends on who you're talking about when you say divisive. If you're talking about people that were telling people and say, hey, you've deleted 250,000 voter register. If you were talking about those people, if you're talking about people that were like what we were doing, advocating to people, teaching, sensitizing, educating, bringing awareness. Go vote, register to vote. Hey, they're shrinking the space. Make sure you vote. They're deleting 250,000 names from the voter register. We came here, we spoke up about these things. That was what we did. Of course, you have other useless people on social media that were saying all kinds of nonsense and foolish stuff. But still, social media played a very important role. Because Marabio already told us as well in social media, you have to, speak up. Don't stay silent. So we did what we had to do to sensitize and educate our people. Look at this report. The ECSL appeared. Let's read this. The ECSL appeared operationally prepared, but delays and omissions in the delivery of sensitive materials occurred on election day. Training of temporary election staff on election day proceedings was overall positively assessed by the EU EOM observers. However, this is the watchword right there. Procedures for tallying and results management came late, clouding prospects of a transparent tabulation and results process. Guys, what is going to change if you have the same filthy people occupying office? What is going to change? Nothing. Nothing. I want you guys to watch this video. Let me remind you guys again.
Abiola, can you hear me? Abiola, we need help. We need help. We're in the party office. They're firing live bullets at us. They're firing tear gas. We're on the floor in one room. I'm here with about 20 people, including my daughter. We need help. They need to stop.
When they see them, when they come, they fire. When they see them, when they see them, when they see them.
Just here on the press conference, and then the next thing we knew, we started hearing firing, and our whole office is surrounded, police and army. All of the vehicles around have been damaged, including that belonging to our presidential candidate.
All right, guys, I said I was going to speak to the European Union representative. If anything that they should do, what we want is for them to ask Marabio to step aside with the overwhelming evidences that we've produced so far to prove that the elections were stolen. We've proved again and again, the evidences are abound. I want you guys to listen to this. All right? Listen to this.
Don't IBAM. The bomb where everybody be they feel say na June 19 in the IB. They not IBAM 19 and then now they don't IB the bomb. The Chief Electoral Commissioner Mohamed Kone of ECSL don't finally tell the journalists them na one press briefing say the Public Election Act 2022 where they amend. He say it not give them no rights. It not require them for let them give anybody disaggregated results. As Famulem can remember, the All People's Congress Party after the election, they say they're not satisfied with the results we come out. So as a result of that, then call on the Electoral Commissioner, then write them and then make press statements them where they all around say they won't forget disaggregated results for about 11,000 polling stations them. So now the Tripartite committee will then be set. That's not the concern also when they be yesterday and one thing results in day. Well, as everybody get up say that peace owner sitting all hands together, then go before respond to that. Now you don't talk I'm clear, say they're not getting no rights for give anybody results, no politician, not even a political party or APC.
All right. I just had to put that small commentary there so you guys will see that. But Mohamed Kane actually said that. That no, then there no obligation to anybody. As far as say Let me play this video for you guys.
In 21 recommendations.
I want you to listen to this.
The much anticipated European Union Election Observation Report has been finally released, entailing 21 recommendations and 7 priority areas. The report broadly reflects the position of other international observer missions. When reading out the report in front of journalists at the prestigious Radisson Blu Hotel, the chief observer started by commending the large voter turnout, which he says underscored the appetite to take part in the political process, but however noted that political violence shrinked the political space, lashing out on the Electoral Commission for not demonstrating transparency during the very crucial tabulation process.
However, there were also issues that we, as a friend of Sierra Leone, observed and are imperative to address. Firstly, political violence shrank the space of political participation. This was observed by the EU Election Observation Mission in at least 6 districts. We also saw disproportionate use of force by security agencies on several occasions. And here I want to stress, violence has no place in elections, neither here in Sierra Leone nor anywhere else on the globe. Also, I want to speak about the tabulation of results that provide to be a key issue, a tipping point. That proved, to be a key issue, a tipping point. The ECSL did not ensure transparency at this very crucial stage of the process.
She added that the ECSL did not heed calls of international observers to be open about the tabulation process, adding that out of the 21 recommendations, they are pinpointing 7 priority areas.
Our observers, as well as citizen observer at the tally center, could not conduct a meaningful observation of the tabulation of results.
Thank you.
Despite repeated calls from observers, the ECSL did not publish the disaggregated result data.
Thank you.
Lack of transparency and limitation on independent scrutiny leaves space for doubt and stains an election.
Guys, again, every Sierra Leonean out there, enough of the buffoonery, enough of the foolishness. I see my brother now, Fox. Brother Fox is my man. Let me talk to Brother Fox. I want to see if I can put Brother Fox's comment on the screen here. All right. Let me talk to Brother Fox. I share Brother Fox's frustration. If I tell Brother Fox I'm not sharing frustration, I'm lying. But what we're tired with and what we are fed up about is that we don't want to continue to lose lives senselessly because we have a few idiots. Brother Fox is saying if he's saying election is not a do or die, then who is going to fight? He has to stand up to it. And brother Fox is right. Brother Fox is right. But the fact is, this is what I always say to people that say stand up for it. Dr. Sumakma has taken another route, a peaceful route, right? Who is willing to die? Are the people willing to die? I believe there are millions and thousands of Sierra Leoneans that are ready to die today for that election. But why should people die for elections? And why don't we act as civilized human beings from all spectra of life? When it comes to elections, why do we believe, first of all, the word itself in democracy, it's power of the people, for the people, and by the people. Sovereignty lies in the hands of the people. Through the Constitution, sovereignty belongs to the people, Section 5, subsection 2A. The government derives its legitimacy, its authority, and its power from the people. If only we believe in that alone in itself, how for the fates by elections? So I say to Brother Fox and other Sierra Leoneans that are saying, what do you want Dr. Samora Kamara to do? Lead a protest? We've seen people getting killed, people getting disappeared from these protests that were organized. Family members are still reeling from their loved ones. They haven't seen their people up until this day. Can Dr. Samora Kamara call a protest? Yes. Would it be a successful protest? Yes. Would it be a very disastrous protest? Yes. Would lives be lost? Yes. Why do we want to keep losing lives over a peaceful process that it should be? Why don't the international partners and people that are responsible actually do the right thing? So again, to my brother Fox in statement now, that is all I have to say to that. I'm one of those people when myself I believe say Dr. Sumak Mafo don't raise hell, brother Fox. Like many of you guys. Fox, you know me very well. If you know me, you know I was a very cool and quiet guy, minding my business, doing my thing. You were the same person, going about doing your thing very quietly, professionally, right? I think the last thing I remember about you was you were teaching at Prince of Wales, I think, after you graduated from Farabic College, if my memory serves me right. We are intelligent people, Fox. We're intelligent people. We live in a democracy where we see intelligence, brother Fox. In the UK, you don't see people fighting over elections like that. You don't see elections being rigged like that, brother Fox. You don't see active participation, though, people engaged. If the people are willing to stand up for themselves, you get these groups, they come together, they organize. But in Sierra Leone, the civil society organizations that should have taken the place and defend and protect democracy if they were righteous, they're not doing, brother Fox. This is the problem that we have. I see my other brother there. By the way, hello everybody, by the way. I see this my other brother, HT. Brother HT says, European Union cannot decide for Sierra Leoneans, especially with this criminal rebel regime. However, Dr. Sumakama should act now. I agree. I agree with brother HT. That's a statement of fact. Dr. Samura Kamara, that is why we are asking, where are we now? There's a lot of Sierra Leoneans that are saying, oh, well, we told you guys this thing was over a long time ago. We don't tell when I say Dr. Sumakama is a big fool. No. Hey, the fight for electoral justice is an ongoing battle. It's not the end. You should be ashamed of yourself to even say that word, that you don't even stand up in place of Dr. Samara Kamara. If Dr. Samara Kamara decide not for stand up for democracy, why you as a citizen of Sierra Leone go stand up for protect your country and protect democracy? Shame on you if you are making these statements. But brother HT, you are correct. Shame on those people that are claiming that, we don't tell now, we somewhere can't talk this talk here, but we don't tell say all things done, Dr. Samara Kamara don't sell. We not be a big fool. No. What are you doing as a citizen? Shame on you. For us to have an election in Sierra Leone where the results are not available, you're not able to stand up to defend it. Shame on you as a citizen. You should bow your head in shame and in disgust for yourself, for your family, for your generation. Shame on you. Because it favor you now. Oh, it's fine. But if it not favor you, if it was not favoring you, it would have been, hell breaks loose. This is why people like myself, longevity in social media, the space that we've occupied, you see them every day, the newcomers, they already come, some already come, they don't even take the time for follow, go through the page and see way back, Usa I stand my position. No, they can't run them out. I say, look at the idiots, look at the fools. Africa, big fool people, beaucoup Sierra Leoneans, beaucoup big fool, but a lot of your brothers and sisters don't wake up. So brother HT, you're right. I don't know. Okay, he did ask me, and no school I go, so I left him on side first. Lamin Denke, thank you. Good job, leader. Thank you, Lamin Denke. Thank you, my brother. I see this other person here. They ask, who's election again? Down they know worth for cannabis screen. I am in for democracy and election justice. Lawrence Fox, I know you are, my brother. You don't have to defend yourself to me. I know. We're all on the same page. I know today, I want you, do you think I don't want to hear Dr. Samara Kamara coming out right now and telling Sierra Leoneans to stand up for that elections? Say he's going to take to the streets and he's calling for a 2 million man march? Brother Fox, I know it's the same feeling that you have. We share the same aspirations. But why people for die in elections? Botswana get the elections, peaceful process, quiet. It's over. I don't say. They don't move on. Botswana, President Duma is doing miraculous things right now, Brother Fox. All we're asking for is to get rid of these filthy, nasty pigs that are sitting in our government, occupying these places. These people don't care about the country. They don't have Section 13B of the Constitution, which tells them about, the fact that every citizen shall cultivate a sense of nationalism and patriotism so that their loyalty should lie to the state. You have people moving on to 2028. They cannot even defend and uphold the fact that we had an elections that does not have a result. International partners, the international organizations, they all condemn the outcomes of the results. And Sierra Leoneans are ashamed. They're not ashamed of themselves for saying Dr. Sumak Madi Big Fulwi. Why can't you take a principled position? Why can't you take a stance for yourself? If Dr. Sumak Mara failed to stand, why you not go stand as a Sierra Leonean? To say, no, I not agree. Election results were not available. We're not for tolerate them. We're not for accept them. It is very bad for our reputation. It's very bad for businesses for come. It's very bad for our economy for thrive. It's very bad for the name of a beautiful Sierra Leone. Besides, we've had a brutal rebel war. Can we think about all of that? And cost people and foot there. Over what? Over what? So thank you, everybody. Now continue for play, this video from this lady. Excuse me.
This takes me to the most important part of our final report, the recommendations. The elections highlighted an urgent need for reforms to enhance transparency and inclusion. To build overall trust in future electoral processes, and we, as observers and friends of Sierra Leone, have identified 7 priority areas where result steps are necessary to uphold regional and international standards for democratic elections and to help democracy strive.
Absolutely.
In total, there are 21 recommendations.
All right.
But we found 7 priority areas.
All right. So
our
this
first
is the European
priority recommendation.
This is the European Union lady. The observer, you can just see she's dejected. They are also sad. You can tell from their body language that they are so disappointed. They just want to see free, fair elections. Let democracy thrive, for God's sake. But these pigs, these filthy pigs, are sitting there, going against the will of their people. Let's see in first recommendation. Let's see.
Recommendations advocate for an enhanced transparency in the conduct of elections. The first step would be the publication of the final voter registry per polling station.
Thank you.
Our second recommendation calls for publishing detailed procedure for the tabulation and establishing a robust and transparent results processing system.
So first recommendation, very clear. Second recommendation, very clear. These recommendations have been the same recommendations from 2018. I don't show now. This is 2018, same thing. Nothing different. They made the same recommendations. Let me see under recommendations, legal framework, priority recommendations, page 7, priority recommendations. Let's go to priority recommendations. This was 2018. Let us see what their priority recommendations, all right? I want us to see this. Let me put this on a bigger screen for you guys. Priority recommendations, all right? Let's read this together. Of the 29 recommendations, this was 2018. Of the 29 recommendations offered by 2018 EU AOM, 25 are considered to require changes of primary legislation. 9 of these would also involve changes in the constitution. All recommendations are based on extensive consultations with a broad range of stakeholders. The recommendations are elaborated in a table format with related information, including on international commitments and standards at the end of this report. 6 priority recommendations are as follows. These were the 6 priority recommendations from the 2018 elections. Consider holding regular presidential elections in conjunction with parliamentary elections on a fixed basis to avoid the unnecessary extensions of the presidential mandate. So what are they saying? To ensure the first recommendation 2018 for make sure so they get parliamentary elections and presidential elections. Okay, it look like say that was done. But not forget say they took away local council elections from us, right? That was totally taken away from us, local council elections. But parliamentary elections were done together. This was 2018 recommendations. Now, in order to strengthen its independence and institutional capacity, the NEC should be provided with sufficient financial resources in a timely manner to avoid shortages in election years. The funding could be distributed throughout the electoral cycle. So we know there was no problem with that. We even hear about $10 million that was stolen by ECSL, but that is not the focus of this live today. Now, what was the third? The third, recommendation: revisit the conflict in the legal framework governing the registration of voters and clarify which institution should be in charge of the voter register. The terms of interaction between the institutions responsible for the civil register and the register of voters should be clearly defined. A permanent, free of charge, and constantly updated civil register, which would be a basis for the register of voters. Register of voters could be, in a long run, or more cost-effective and sustainable alternative to the current practice of conducting a fresh voter registration exercise before each election. We know the registration process itself was smeared the whole through. 250,000 names disappeared from the voter register. We screamed, we holla. People were suffering to register. You saw the young people at Douazak farm, that were trying to register and they could not register. Why? Because they were telling them that, oh no, this is, go get the blue birth certificate. We need the yellow birth certificate, not this birth certificate. This was what happened throughout the cycle. We saw it for ourselves. Salon people, these are the things we've been saying. So therefore, they did not even work on that one. Remember this video? I don't know if you guys remember. For the sake of clarity, let me play this video for us so I go see exactly what I'm talking about. This is the video of young people we're not able for a vote. We're able for votes because they don't allow them for register. Let me see. All right, right there. These young people, they're not able for vote. Listen to them.
Yes, sir. Youssef, na the same issue, Yeah, Youssef na Douazak today. Old market at the You come for register, they don't allow you. Yes, I come for register, and they don't allow me to come for register at school. Once I go back, so then say, like engineer, I reach there, you face what you can show that. So many money stand for the MC for such no happen. So I go back, like engineer, and you face no stress, and I the whole day. The register now go back with this law, so the this law card. The way we shop for 2017 at the register. So this madam self gets your own testimony. Yeah? What are you age? 18 years. You will go to school? So you self voting be approved. You register at school. Yeah. So your system not show. That you not show up na the system. Yeah.
Now go mount to I can't do it. Now go show your back at the same time. The same time. And just for same like MCI.
See, this one ain't not gonna 5 centers them for getting self-register, and as a result of that, we can go find out say it's documented. We come back at the same side them with the slip of the girl, they still say they're not set the system, then deprive them for they get access. They say we vote as Sierra Leone. So far so good. They were the people the problem that we get in the community, and we self one for their government to say they don't affect the future, they don't affect them in the country, they don't also affect them because they want to drive them not for be part of the process, for them to say we vote for other government. One small one for them, the old one will say these are the challenges where the new system don't create, these are the problems with and this problem they all over the country. They deprive people them or let people don't get access for registration. They deprive people them because of how they feel to say people are not for vote. In that direction, we want to let the international community know say this is a great concern and it affect the system, it affect every Sierra Leonean, it affect the Pekin. So why for 1% thinking listeners all over the world, especially Sierra Leonean. Then we all come on board, then we continue to pass this audio so any part of the world and any organization or any group so that the whole world will know say they deprive Sierra Leonean not for take part of this community registration.
Thank you. So they did not even allow the folks, the kids that were under the age of 18 were not allowed to register because they knew these people are woken. They understood that we've imparted injected civic education into them. They were ready to vote out Marabio. So they frustrated their efforts to register these kids to vote. They frustrated them. That is what is happening. Anyway, guys, it's all lit. I'm going to leave it here. Brother Fox said 20 police to protect me because I was attacked at my door. Brother Fox, you're not in England, I swear. When England, man, you can't attack you, I do. Can't attack man, American, I do not now. Now, England, nobody's going to happen. They go attack you, I do not. Anyways, I'm sorry for hearing that story there. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it right here. But whatever we do, I'm telling you guys, nothing is going to come out of these pigs that we have that are occupying power. The international community, what they should be doing is making sure that they reinstate Dr. Samura Kamara as the winner of the June 24th, 2023 elections so that he could be implementing some of these necessary changes that we also seek and desire at this point in time. That is what should be happening. Dr. Samura Kamara should be implementing these changes that we are seeking right now. Otherwise, there is no point. Nothing good is going to come out of anything. These people are going to continue doing the same thing that they're doing. And that's all it's going to be. That's all it's going to be. I'm going to leave you guys with this song. You know, have fun. And have a good evening. All right? I'm going to leave this song, you know, with you guys. And take care of yourselves, guys. Bye-bye, everybody.
As this crying for democracy.
So you ready?
Yeah.
So signal Supermax, burn down Babylon. It's a bullshit.
Now let me. Now let me. No sugar coated vibes, we no listen no more. We no listen no more. Our ears have turned up. Where is the democracy? Where is the justice and freedom of speech? Yeah. Echo us where you are. You guys gonna come quick. The EU where you are. Uno come investigate. United Nations where you are. Uno come to our aid. Great Britain where you are. You guys gonna come quick. Superpower where you are. Uno come to our aid. Our democracy have been tampered with. Yeah, man. Our freedom have been tied. Oh, sure. Too much frustration in our land. Too much suffocation in our continent. Check down a tiny country in West Africa. Sierra Leone. The rapid killing unjustly. The rapid imprisonment, where is the justice?
It's a bullshit.
Yeah, the law have been bent, the system corrupt, the forces corrupt, the leaders corrupt. Oh, yeah, oh. Yes, the people are crying. Yes, the people are crying. They need your watchful eye. Echo us where you are. You guys gonna come quick. The EU where you are. Uno come investigate. United Nations where you are. Uno come to our aid. Great Britain where you are. You guys gonna come quick. Superpower where you are. Uno come to our aid. Our democracy have been tampered with. Yeah, man. Our freedom have been tied.
Bash it up.
Sure. Now let me. Now let me. No sugar coated vibes, we no listen no more. We no listen no more. Our ears have turned up. Where is the democracy? Where is the justice and freedom of speech? Yeah. If you talk, they will lock you up. You demonstrate, they will shoot you without no mercy. Yes, the people are crying. Yes, the people are crying. Oh. ECOWAS where you are, you guys gonna come quick. The EU where you are, uno come investigate. United Nations where you are, uno come to our aid. Great Britain where you are, you guys gonna come quick. Superpower where you are, uno come to our aid. Our democracy have been tampered with.
It's a bullshit.
You demonstrate, they will shoot you without no mercy. Yes, the people are crying. Yes, the people are crying. Our national election, we need your attention. We are calling on you. We are calling on you. So-called democracy have become dictatorial government. Yeah. The police and the judiciary have been compromised and have become a puppet of the central government.
It's a bullshit.
The rapid killing unjustly, the rapid imprisonment, where is the justice? Yeah. Unlawful detention, unlawful detention, innocent bloodshed.
The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? We are calling on international community, the IMF, the World Bank, the American government, the British government. There is so much political tension and intimidation going on in our country. Gross violation of human rights, no freedom of speech, no freedom of expression, unlawful arrest and detention of opposition people and their leaders, unlawful arrest and detention of musicians and civil rights activists, massive killing at mile 91, Tambo and Lozar, brutal murder and killing at the Pademba Road Prison, killing innocent people at Town Kalimba, children under 5, pregnant women, suckling women were brutally killed. We are calling on international community, US government, the British government and their embassies, the ICC, the United Nations, European Union, and the ECOWAS, the IMF, the World Bank, and other stakeholders for their timely intervention, because the situation is now out of hand as a result of bad tribal politics.
Sierra Leone, the rapid killing unjustly, the rapid imprisonment, where is the justice?
It's a bullshit.
Our national election, we need your attention. Yeah, you demonstrate, they will shoot you without no mercy. Yes, the people are crying. Yes, the people are crying. Our national election, we need your attention. We are calling on you. We are calling on you. Where is the democracy? Where is the justice and freedom of speech? Yeah. If you talk, they will lock you up. You demonstrate, they will shoot you without no mercy. Yes, the people are crying. Yes, the people are crying.
The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid of? Supermax Entertainment, leave your fly.
I've recently come to learn that a lot of